I'm Hank Stoltz, and it is time for the Worcester Red Sox show with the president of the Worcester Red Sox, Dr. Charles Steinberg. Dr. Charles Steinberg, good morning.
Woohoo! How about that? Fresh back from Nashville last night from the winter meetings.
Oh.
And, it wasn't all that warm there either. So.
Just 21 degrees on this Thursday morning. So you're just back from the winter meetings of
Yes.
Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Did anything of interest happen at the meetings that fans might want to know about?
We have so much to go over on this show today. I think the biggest news was Joe Castiglione going in the Hall of Fame, the broadcaster's wing. But yes, Major League Baseball approved the transaction that will allow Diamond Baseball Holdings to be the majority owner, with, of course, Larry Lucchino staying, Ralph Crowley staying, Jim Skevington staying. And so they tell us, all of us in the front office get to stay.
Very
too.
good. Glad that you are staying in, as you said, the whole front office.
Yeah, and we could talk about it because I had a nice chat with Peter Freund. That's how you pronounce it, Freund. It's Freund, who's the chief executive officer of Diamond Baseball Holdings. And it's a good talk because he is a pure baseball fan and a baseball person who has owned minor league baseball teams now for, many years, maybe 15, 16 years. And it's really just kind of a little boy's baseball dream to do that. So we can go over that.
But this Diamond Baseball Holdings is new. They've only been around for a few years, and yet you're like team number 27 that they bought.
27, 28, and 29 all on the same day.
Wow.
The New Hampshire Fisher Cats and the Louisville Bats joined the WooSox in being the latest members of the DBH family. But the fact that it's new shouldn't betray the understanding of the long history that Peter Freund has in minor league baseball. He's a baseball fan and lives in New York and even has been associated with the New York Yankees. But that's okay when you can put the former owner, the owner of the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders and the Memphis Redbirds. He also owned owns the Williamsport Club. That's where it really started for him. That's the home of the Little League World Series, pure Americana, pure baseball romance. And he was consulting for Major League Baseball when Major League Baseball took over minor league baseball. And another top executive in sports in the world of college sports licensing named Pat Battle, well-known, very well-respected, was talking to Commissioner Manfred about buying a minor league team or a minor league team. Said, you really ought to talk to Peter Freund. And that's how they met just a couple years ago. And so there's a long history in minor league baseball for Peter Freund, but a recent history in the two of them getting together. And they set out to enjoy what they were doing on a larger scale. And they got the backing, and that's why they've been acquiring these clubs. And I spent a lot of the winter meetings talking to my counterparts with other clubs who are in the Diamond Baseball Holdings family. And to a man, I don't think the women I know aren't part of it yet, but to a man, they were just raving about DBH, and they're just behind baseball.
Very interesting. It seems. Go ahead, but I mean, it does seem as if they leave people alone a little bit.
Well, yeah, because it's not as though when you own 29 clubs, it's not as though you have 29 front offices that are your sons-in-law, or daughters-in-law. So they do that, and because that's what's in their best interest while they're aggregating these clubs. But it's really about a love of baseball, which I found very refreshing. Nobody in the history of baseball has made the investment that they're making in minor league baseball. So let's say you're the commissioner of baseball, and someone says to you, I'd like to buy a team, and they're going to take the franchise value higher. Well, that's good for the health of the game. What if they have in the minor leagues where you're, and we'll get to some of the chirpings, but In minor league baseball, I want to buy this team, and I want to buy this team, and I want to buy this team. Really? You want to make that kind of investment? I want to buy this team, and this team, and this team. So you're finding that people are believing in the game and believing in minor league baseball to the degree that they have bought 29 clubs. Now, when I talk about the chirping, oh gosh, there again the other day was one of the professors at an area college saying, "Oh, that shows you that there's no competition between the teams." Let's help the uninformed. The players who play for the Worcester Red Sox do not work for the Worcester Red Sox. They are not our employees. We do not pay them. They are not part of our staff. The players who play for the Worcester Red Sox work for the Boston Red Sox. All minor league players on affiliated clubs are employees of a major league club. So when the Worcester Red Sox played the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, and it's Red Sox Yankees, and one company owns both clubs, they don't own the players. The players don't work for them. The players work for the Boston Red Sox, and they work for the New York Yankees. The competition on the field is as pure as it ever was. That's not what a minor league owner owns. What a minor league owner owns is everything the fan experiences. Those of us who work in the front office. If you wear a uniform, a baseball uniform, you don't work for the WooSox. You're associated. You play with us. We're your friends, but no. So there is no challenge to the competition on the field because it's common ownership. We have nothing to do with that. Talk to a member of the Boston Red Sox and ask them if they feel a kinship with a member of the New York Yankees. No, they're out there to play their hearts out on the field. By the way, to that end, one of the cool things that the Boston Red Sox do at the winter meetings is they have a dinner 2 nights ago where it's the affiliates dinner. And so we're sitting there with Craig Breslow, with Alex Cora, with Brian Abraham, who's related to half of Worcester. He's from Worcester. And the folks from the Salem Club, the Portland Club. You go right on down. It's a long, narrow table, but you just have this great baseball discussion. And so vertically, the Red Sox are one family. Now, John Henry, Tom Werner, Mike Gordon, all the partners who own the Boston Red Sox, that's the Boston Red Sox, and they control all the players through the system. Then you now have Diamond Baseball, which will have the Worcester Red Sox, the Portland Sea Dogs, the Salem Red Sox. And so we're all one family that way, too. But to anyone who inadvertently, accidentally isn't informed, is a professor who speaks things that they obviously they just don't know about, let the word go forth. There is full competition on the field.
The competition on the field is the concern that when you start to be 29 teams, and I understand his the owner's love of baseball, but that you want to begin obviously to get that profit, and so when it was Larry Lucchino and Charles Steinberg, and hey, let's go buy a diner and refurbish it because that's something cool. Well, I don't, just as many people would come to the park if you had done this with Sherwood's Diner or not. Do those kinds of cool things start to go away if you're owned by somebody who owns 29 teams?
It remains to be seen, but it's a very personal relationship. It's not like we're working for some massive corporation. There's Peter Freund and us. He's going to come to town next week. He's going to meet the front office, meet some folks here in Worcester. But we talked about how you go about investing. They're bullish. They're bullish on baseball. They're bullish on making sure that we, who are a jewel in their constellation of stars, are supported.
He actually had said in his statement, as we will talk more about this straight ahead, that he had targeted the Worcester Red Sox from the very beginning of his organization.
Well, this is what we've been saying all along, that we have been approached ever since the summer of 2021, and he's the one who started the approach.
We'll have more to come. The Worcester Red Sox show continues with Dr. Charles Steinberg, the president of the Worcester Red Sox. And, of course, we're talking about the sale of the team to the Diamond Holdings Group. And what, if anything, changes for the fan next season? Does anything change?
So far, I don't see what would change because we're going about our business. And I met with Peter Freund at the winter meetings, and he said, "Gosh, your franchise isn't a problem. Yours a great franchise. So we just keep right on going. We'll be doing improvements. We'll be doing our thing, our fireworks. Our tickets go on sale Saturday. By the way, Winter Wonderland. Did we say WooSox Winter Wonderland? Is
Wonderland is the word of the day, by the way.
So we keep on going, and I think they're still in acquisition mode. So. But they were very complimentary on how we've done things, and I think they know, and everybody in minor league baseball knows, we have something special going on here. Worcester has vaulted to the top of the minor league baseball dialogue. People know that we sold more tickets than anybody out of the 120 clubs. So there'll be things. I've never been through an ownership change where there wasn't change. I've been through 6 ownership changes. They're designed to have change. And I think that I'm looking forward to some things that they might do. And if you had 20, 30, 40, 50, sounds like a Royal Guardsman song. If you had 50 ballparks, what might you be able to do? Well, let's get back to that concept of concerts. If you had all these ball clubs, what is your philanthropic might? So these are the things that you want to consider.
Right.
You might be able to do more.
Now, one of the things that will change, of course, will be that on the field at Polar Park, we will not see Ryan Fitzgerald. Beloved Fitzy is, and this is good news, and we are excited for him. He is somebody who the Kansas City Royals targeted, wanted, and we hope that he makes it to the big club.
He's the best. Fitzy is really extraordinary. I am thrilled for him because when the Kansas City Royals pick you, they have plans for you. And I think you read aloud earlier this morning from the Kansas City Star. They like his versatility and his bat can make an impact. But how about what Fitzy said? Now, not all of this made it into the TNG article, but listen to what Fitzy said. The WooSox and the city of Worcester have been nothing short of incredible. I don't think I could have imagined a better place to play. As I've said before, the WooSox treat their players better than any other minor league team out there. Everyone from the grounds crew to the front office is the best in the business. The city itself is a hidden gem. When I first heard of Worcester, again, this is Fitzy talking. When I first heard of Worcester, I didn't know where it was and couldn't pronounce it. After living there for over 2 years, it is the best place I have ever played. Worcester will always have a special place in my heart. There were so many people that were there for me, from the photographers to the stadium workers to the fans. I will forever remember their support. The team is in good hands with players like Sogi, Shug, T-Mac, Nico, and Scotty. I'm going to miss the guys and especially the staff. Getty, Trace, Flo are the best coaches I've ever had in my career. I'm so blessed that my career crossed paths with theirs. I just want the WooSox and the city of Worcester to know how much I appreciate everything they have done for me and hope to see everyone somewhere down the road. That's from Ryan Fitzgerald. That's from Fitzy telling that to Tommy Castle of the TNG. He's a class act all the way.
Boy, fantastic.
He's just one of the nicest, best people I've worked with in my career, which is 48 years.
Well, Worcester certainly embraced him. Have you seen at a minor league level where, because it's transient by nature, where a city has embraced a player the way this city embraced Fitzy?
In recent years, you see it less and less because of how transient it is. There was a time when players played 2-3 years of AAA ball. I knew a fellow who was in the Orioles player development system, and back in his day, he had played 7 years at AAA. Now, there were only 16 major league teams at that time, and playing at AAA was a career. But in recent years, you go fast. So I think it was great that we had Fitzy as long as we had him, although he would have rather been in the majors. But I just think there's more we can do. If he makes the Kansas City Royals, if he gets up to the big leagues, can you imagine a watch party at Polar Park?
Oh, it'd be exciting.
And we could we could transmit the footage of fans watching to the Kansas City Royals telecast, and they could see that we're watching back in Worcester. So I just think that if you're a real baseball fan, you are thrilled if he gets the call to the majors. And,
absolutely. No, I mean, he is just somebody who made an impact. Heck, I'm in Boland's the other day on Water Street, and there is a Fitzy bobblehead sitting behind the bar. Those will live forever in Worcester.
Well, the bobbleheads, excuse me, you mentioned earlier the line of clothing, so it's good. But, these are special guys. And that's why if I've achieved anything in my career, it's remaining 9 or 10 years old. And again, I've told this story before, but right after the season this year, we finished on Sunday, September 17th. On Monday or Tuesday, the 18th or 19th, Fitzy, I'll tell you when it was. It was about a week later, about September 26th. Joe Bradley brought Fitzy in, and I was showing him my 2 baseballs in my office that Brooks Robinson signed for me. One of them he signed on New Year's Eve day when I was 10 years old. I just turned 10, and I have it in my office here at Polar Park. And I was telling him that look at the impact you can have. And the day that he stopped his car and talked to a kid on the front lawn, I mean, that's a child's fantasy. I'm throwing my tennis ball at my steps in Baltimore. If Brooks Robinson had pulled over and said, "Hey, you like the Orioles?" I mean, I would have lost my mind. So it doesn't matter that one's Brooks Robinson and one's Ryan Fitzgerald. It matters that we're 10 years old. And I explained this to Fitzy, and I told him how Brooks is still with me. And later that day, we got the word that Brooks passed away.
Wow.
So right to the end of Brooks's life, he was still impacting me, and I'm no longer 10 years old, but with good deeds that he did for me. And that's the power baseball players have, athletes in general do, but baseball players have in this beautiful, romantic part of Americana that lives as profoundly as the child on the front lawn who has Fitzy drive up and say, "Hey, here's a bat," and then Joe Bradley puts them together to ball game.
That's
These
and that's
things
exciting.
matter,
right? They sure do. That young man will remember that forever.
Yes, he'll remember it, God willing, when he's my age and he's the president of the WooSox, and he's saying, "Oh well, I'll tell you what happened for me. It was one day, Ryan Fitzgerald, drove up to my house." So you pass these things along. But I absolutely believe in baseball for that and for many other reasons. But it's very real. It's very life affirming.
Dr. Charles, is there anything else that came out of the winter meetings that impacts us here in Worcester?
Yes, you bet. Joe Castiglione goes into the Hall of Fame. That's very cool. So this past Saturday night here at Polar Park, we have our WooSox Foundation Honors Gala, 2nd annual. Sold out. The place was packed. The DCU Club was packed. The mayor was there the whole night. Vanessa Welch did a beautiful job from Boston 25. And Joe Castiglione is back for a 2nd year as co-master of ceremonies. And you just felt this love in the room. Now, the content of the event was very touching. In the area of education, we honored posthumously Megan Milanopoulos, the North High School assistant principal, who we had honored. She threw a first pitch here 1 month before she passed away, and we knew that it might be the last big family outing for her. We honored Judy Kirk in her relentless efforts in social justice. Dr. Jonathan Gerber, the head of oncology at UMass Memorial, what a standing ovation he got. And Sean Rose, not for being a city councilor, that's his public service, but for being such an advocate for women playing diamond sports and for those with disabilities playing diamond sports. And then a great ovation there. Craig Breslow was here, and Joe Castiglione interviewed him. And, Craig Breslow is a wonderful guy, just bright guy, kind man, devoted to pediatric oncology. His sister, thank goodness, is okay, but she had thyroid cancer when she was 14. Craig's explaining that he got into medical school and he kept deferring because his baseball career was going and going and going. And after so many years of deferring, they finally said, all right, you probably, have too much of a gap there. Yeah. But he was going to be a physician. So you had Jonathan Gerber, who is helping to invent cures for cancer, and you had Craig Breslow, who was also accepted to medical school but went the baseball route. It was I don't know, it was kind of a cool scene. But Joe Castiglione fosters so much love in the room because people love what he has meant as the voice beneath the pillow, but they also get his kindness. And that's over 40 years. So when yesterday at the winter meetings, he gets elected to the broadcasters wing, whatever they properly call it now, but the broadcasters wing of the Baseball Hall of Fame, we were thrilled. Yeah. So that's another celebration that I would love for us to have this summer. I believe we're on the road the weekend he goes in Cooperstown, but that's something for us to celebrate. So let's keep our eye on Fitzy. Let's hope he makes it to the Kansas City Royals. Let's keep our eye on Joe Castiglione when he goes into Cooperstown. Those were big things. Also at the winter meetings, you're just reacquainting yourself with a lot of people you've met over the years in baseball. And by the way, one of them, right in our own family, was a very nice talk with Alex Cora, who is completely up to date with what goes on here. I said, now, do you know, and we had just talked about children of ball players and as they grow accustomed to the clubhouse, because Alex has, I think, twin boys 6 years old. So they're about to grow up, we hope, in the clubhouse. I said, now, do you know Chad Tracy well? He goes, it's what you just said. I said, what do you mean? He said, I played for his father at the Dodgers, and Chad Tracy was a little kid in the clubhouse. He said, I've known him since he was a little clubhouse brat.
How about
that? He said, and that just builds so much communication and trust. So when Chad Tracy is telling Alex Cora about a ball player, he knows what he's talking about.
Wonderland, that is your word of the day. Now, why is Wonderland the word of the day? Yes, it's all a winter wonderland out there, but the word of the day or the word of the week really always does tie into something that we are going to bring people, Dr. Charles, in the conversation.
Saturday is our third annual WooSox Winter Wonderland at Polar Park. It is everyone's first opportunity to get single game tickets for opening day and April and May, and for the first time to have the actual tickets, not a coupon, not a gift certificate, to have the actual tickets that you can put under the tree. We even have these kind of oversized cool boxes that, okay, you pay a couple extra dollars for it, but you put them, if you want it, you put them in this big box. So there's this big present under the tree, and you open it up and, here's your 4 tickets, but it's a big box because it's a big deal. How about that? But the opportunity, the first opportunity for you to have opening day and April and May, and we're already giving some thought to opening day. We've got some cool ideas in mind.
Yes. Well, I have to tell you, just the fact that it's in WooSox open up on the road, the fact that it is in April. I don't know why that was. Opening up in March, it was just a mental thing. I doubt that it'll be much warmer 5 days later, but it was a mental thing for me.
You know, we have a penchant for celebrating anniversaries. What year is next year?
It is 2024. It is the anniversary of
20th anniversary of what?
20th anniversary of the Red Sox World Series victory. So who might be coming to the?
So that's how you start your approach. That's what you start thinking about. So, let those thoughts flourish. Hopefully on a warm beach between Christmas and New Year's. But next year really holds the opportunity for us to do some really cool celebrating as all of us go, really? It's been 20 years since 2004?
In a lot of ways, that does seem unbelievable, doesn't it? For a whole lot of Red Sox fans, it was yesterday.
There's a documentary that will be coming out on Netflix about it, and I just did my lengthy, naturally, interview the other day, and you just start to chronicle minute by minute some of those things that happened. There's a lot of storytelling that we can all enjoy next year. Because, I can tell you stories. July 24th, the most important regular season game in Red Sox history. And you go, what was that? Well, if I say the Veritek A-Rod brawl, you go, I got it. But there's a whole story to that. Or, where were you when we won? Well, how about being with Johnny Pesky, having taken him down to the clubhouse? Like, that was cool. So there are all these stories. But every fan has their story. And what was the most frequently asked question in November of 2004 at the Boston Red Sox by fans? Do you have heavy ornaments? Because we are taking things to cemeteries, and we don't want them to blow away in the cold, windy winter weather. So there are so many stories from 2004, and I think that merits a nice 20th anniversary celebration. Anyway, at our Winter Wonderland on Saturday at Polar Park, that's Saturday, December 9th, that's this Saturday, we'll also have tickets on sale, but we'll have a whole festival. Lenny DiNardo, a member of that 2004 team, will be there, and he's going to, I think, bring one of his guitars. And I might have a few. We've been known to do duets before. So let's get Eric Olafson on drums. Look for Lenny DiNardo. Everything about 2004, I think, is going to be elevated and sanctified next year. So we're thrilled that Lenny is coming on Saturday. And then we talked last week about our WooSox Holiday Community Caravan. 27 cities and towns in 27 days. Well, it reaches its peak this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when the WooSox Foundation has a slew of appearances. And joining them is one of the three pitchers who participated in the WooSox only no-hitter so far. And if you remember that, on August 4th of 2022 against the Durham Bulls, let's see, it was Michael Waka was the starting pitcher, and Shugart, I think, finished it. But in the middle, A.J. Politi.
Yes, I still have the poster.
He is coming to town just to go out with the big red WooSox Foundation caravan presented by Bank of America. And he's going to go around and meet children. He's going to stop by the elementary school where our WooSox mentor program is. So he's got a lot of stops on the agenda. Joe Bradley, again, keeping him busy. And he's a Seton Hall alum. Joe has to remind us that John Valentin and Mo Vaughn are both other Seton Halls, because you can't have a conversation with Joe Bradley without Mo Vaughn coming up. It's like me talking about Brooks Robinson. We have our guys. But A.J. Politi coming to town. So it's a wonderful vision of a holiday season. We're going to have middle school students coming to Polar Park for lunch. this Tuesday. So we're going out. They're coming in. It's a festive time of the season, and our staff is energized and feeling the Christmas spirit, the holiday spirit. There'll be a Hanukkah celebration on next Thursday.
Right.
That's the 14th. I think that's the 8th candle of Hanukkah. So it's a busy time, but it's a wonderful time. And who sings "It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year"? Is that Andy Williams?
I think that is Andy Williams.
You know,
Yes,
you can
absolutely.
hear it. It's time for holiday music and to celebrate the people of this city. There's just such a feel in this city, and I'm thrilled that Fitzy felt it. It's been a wonderful experience for me to feel it. I didn't know that much about Worcester either, and you know my expression is I fell in love with Worcester and fell in love in Worcester. So it's really been extraordinary, and we would love to just keep it going.
Well, and I think that sort of bring us back to where we began our conversation today on the Worcester Red Sox show. Right, that is what it is all about. You don't buy the jewel of the minor leagues right now and decide, okay, let's go in and let's start monkeying around. You buy it because this is what we want it to keep going. If anything, you go to one of the other teams in your group and say, you know what they're doing in Worcester? Or do you guys want to try this? Maybe this will work out better.
Well,
and that's what you do.
And that's what we do. And that's part of what we did at the winter meetings. Yeah, I'm talking to the president and general manager of the Iowa Cubs. And, you know, what does Iowa have to do with Worcester? Not a lot, but you wind up talking about best practices and, do you do this and do you do that? So we're all in the same business in our distinct areas.
Right.
And, you know, I don't even like to call it a business. People say, it's not a sport, it's a business. You know what? It's a sport. You know what? The first reference I have seen to someone lamenting, it's no longer a sport, it's a business, was an article I found from 92. And this ball player was saying, it's no longer a sport, it's a business. 1892 in a Philadelphia paper. So
been around forever.
Yeah, it's, stop it. It's a sport. It's fun. It's a game. It's competitive. It's pure. It's grass and dirt and sun and sky. And we're just. I think we're blessed to have baseball, and I think that Worcester is such a baseball haven. And the folks from Diamond Baseball got that. They said, this is the home of John Gaffney, the father of the umpires, the father of a pentagon for home plate.
Right.
They knew all that.
Their history. Wow. All right. So remember, gang, this Saturday. Now, if you're a WooSox Rewards member, put in Wonderland, get your 5 points, and you can already buy your tickets for the new season for opening day and for April and May. But between 10 and 2 this Saturday, everybody come on down, get those tickets. And remember, you're getting, if you've done this in the past couple of seasons, this season you are getting physical tickets that you are going to have so that you are going to be able to, when somebody opens up that present, go, there you go, and they actually have those tickets in their hand.
And by the way, coming up, I'll do the tease for you.
Good.
On the music of baseball, another world premiere, and it's based on a little riff that goes like this. A little bit heavy. Now, what sounds so heavy? What sounds so harrowing that it merits a new song that is somewhat about the WooSox, but more about Worcester?
About Worcester. All right. So this is very exciting. This is an original Dr. Charles Steinberg composition that is coming up. I look forward to that again. Wonderland. Before we head to that, I just want to check you know what I wanted to, because I had written this down on my little cheat sheet here. The WooSox Gala. I know that you mentioned it, but I saw everybody was just dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
That really did seem to be a very special night for your second annual gala.
It really was. There was a special feeling, a lot of love in the room. It felt like Worcester's compassionate community had coalesced in the DCU club. And it was fun because before we all got to the DCU club, yes, people are all dressed up, black tie optional, and you go through the clubhouse first, and every room in the clubhouse was decked out to tell you one of our stories. This room was all gold for pediatric oncology, and it told you that story. This room was about diamond sports, and this room was about social justice, and this room was about education. And then you went into the clubhouse itself, you saw these lockers, each adorned for one of our WooSox scholars. Oh. And there was one of our scholars, Jeremiah Malay, and he's there just talking to people with the biggest smile, you know.
Oh, my goodness. So
and then
good.
you went and took swings in the batting cage. How about that?
What a night in your tux. Hey, coming up, the music of baseball. The music of baseball with Dr. Charles Steinberg.
Well, today we premiere another instrumental song that will ultimately have a singer singing the lyrics. The story of this song is we were in a meeting a couple weeks ago, and a colleague of mine, John Canavan, who heads WooSox Productions, was saying that we should have yet another mascot, and that it should be a heart, and because we're the heart of the Commonwealth. And he thought it should be a female gender mascot. And then he went into Worcester history and told me what everybody in Central Mass knows, but I didn't know. Who was born in Oxford? Well, Clara Barton, who created the American Red Cross. Well, it turns out she was a teacher for many years. Turns out she was a nurse. Turns out she was on the front lines as a medic. So in essence, a veteran. And we were just musing about, that fits Worcester. And so I sat down at the piano, and when you think of our frontline heroes, which to me is so much a part of Worcester's fabric, there's a heaviness. We just passed the 24th anniversary of losing our firefighters in the cold storage fire. We know we've lost 9. We know we lost Manny Familia heroically. I sat down, and there was a bit of a melody, but a bit of a haunting melody. It went. And the lyrics started to come, and I'll recite them to you with apologies to WB, the poet laureate. Every town in New England has a story to tell. Inns to innovation, gallant heroes as well. From the heart of New England, nestled deep in its soul, courage and compassion, old stories that never get old. And then it moves up in its energy. First to arrive, first on the scene, first to lend a hand. Run into the fire, dive into the danger, the legends of our land. She's the heart of the Commonwealth, courage, a most courageous band. She's the heart of the Commonwealth, the legends of our land. Has the heart of a teacher, has the heart of a nurse, has the heart of a veteran, has the heart to be first. First to arrive, first on the scene, first to lend a hand. Run into the fire, dive into the danger, the legends of our land. She's the heart of the Commonwealth, a most compassionate band. She's the heart of the Commonwealth, the legends of our land. And in the bridge, we get a little more specific. We all take part in what Clara Barton put her heart in, too. We all take part in what Clara Barton made into a dream come true. First to arrive, first on the scene, first to lend a hand. Bursting with pride in every village green, the legends of our land. She's the heart of the Commonwealth, courageous, compassionate band. A red heart across the Commonwealth, the heart of the Commonwealth, the legends of our land. So it fills you with emotion as you think of our firefighters, as you think of our police officers, as you think of the frontline heroes during COVID, the teachers, the grocery store folks, everybody who went into the turmoil rather than retreating from the turmoil. And it became a piece of music that when we recorded WooSox 24, I told it to the band members. And again, on piano, there's this kind of heaviness that I keep citing, where it goes. And so from the piano, it gets translated on the bass, on the guitar, on the organ, on the drums. And so still to be mixed. And the mix will actually reveal even a more harrowing sound. This one has just all the instruments in a hodgepodge. At the end of the day, we make a rough mix. But here is the music that is legends of our land. She's the heart of the Commonwealth.
The music of baseball with Dr. Charles Steinberg.
The legends of our land, a tribute to all of our frontline heroes, our first responders, to everyone who showed their courage and showed their compassion during COVID, but it symbolized the city. It didn't define the city. The city already had a history of courage and compassion. It always does, and it also is a tip of the cap to Clara Barton. And if a heart is in our future as yet another mascot, well, here's a song to go with that.